Previously on this channel, I talked about how the Kazekage rescue arc did not work as the first arc in the Shippuden era of Naruto. The arc felt like it wasn't necessary to Naruto's character specifically. It could have worked completely better if it was just a Kakashi and Sakura arc. Many people criticized the early part of Shippuden as very lackluster and boring, but I believe the Tenchi Bridge arc isn't one of those arcs that they're speaking about. The arc is a very sleeper pick of an arc, and it works very well as a follow-up to what happened in the pre-Timeskip era of Naruto. Today, alongside a guest, we're going to talk about this arc in full and discuss why it's really underrated, as well as why it could have been the first arc in the Shippuden era of Naruto. Before we continue, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it helps the channel out. Now it's time for my special guests to introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm Asemi. I overanalyze Naruto episode by episode. If you think you'd be interested in that, go check out my channel. I bet you'll like it. And if you're not into that kind of stuff, check it out anyways, because I have a gun pointed to your head. Anyways, I'm gonna give you a brief summary of the arc real quick. Before the arc starts, you're actually gonna need a little bit of context. In the previous arc before Sasori dies, he tells Sakura that someone he had spying on Orochimaru was gonna meet him at the Tenchi Bridge in 10 days time. Team 7 and Team Guy return to the Leaf. Kakashi's bedridden from overusing Mangekyo, so they kinda need to find a new team leader and another team member in order to set out to the Tenchi Bridge. Tsunade picks Yamato, an ex-Anbu wood style user, and Sai, an ex-Foundation member who's good at drawing. Before Sakura and Naruto know that Sai is their new teammate, Naruto and Sai beef for a little bit, and Naruto hates him. They then officially meet Sai and get ready to leave for the Tenchi Bridge. But before they leave, two things happen. The first thing is that Sai gets given his real mission assigned by Danzo, which essentially just says kill Sasuke. The second thing that happens is that Jiraiya tells Yamato about the Nine-Tails cloak, something that happens to Naruto when the Nine-Tails chakra engulfs his body. Jiraiya just tells Yamato about how dangerous it is and how bad it is. Now Team Kakashi, which doesn't have Kakashi on it, sets off on their mission. Sai and Naruto are still beefing, by the way, but Yamato for the most part just shuts it down. They stay at this inn for a night, and before they leave, Sai is drawing like the subscribe button or something, and Sakura sees him. She decides to talk to him, and during that conversation, Sai brings up that he doesn't feel any emotions. Naruto then shows up and tells them they have to head back out, and Sai just tells him he has a small dick or something. As they're packing up to leave, Sakura asks Sai about a picture book that he has, and Sai tells her it's only something that he looks at. Hopefully that's not important later. Anyways, they're sending back out to the Tenchi Bridge. Again, they make it to the Tenchi Bridge and they meet up with the spy. The spy is actually Kabuto, and while Kabuto and Yamato posing as Sasori talk, Orochimaru appears. Kabuto ends up to be actually working with Orochimaru and he attacks Yamato. With Kabuto and Orochimaru against him, Yamato has no choice but to call in for the rest of Team Kakashi. As they jump in for backup, Naruto immediately has some of the Nine-Tails chakra taking over him. Naruto smacks Orochimaru and Orochimaru walks back like nothing happened. He then pisses off Naruto to the point that his Nine-Tails chakra cloak actually goes to the third tail. Kabuto now tries to attack Naruto, but Naruto using a diet-tailed beast bomb clocks him and destroys most of the bridge. While Kabuto is flying through the air, he accidentally smacks the shit out of Sakura. This forces Yamato to save her, and in this moment, Sai realizes it's his time to start the mission that Danzo gave him. Naruto was fighting Orochimaru, and he was actually winning until the show realized it was Orochimaru. And as that's happening, Kabuto realizes he's a character in the show, and he walks over to Sakura and Yamato. Naruto then enters into the fourth tail, and he makes a tailed beast bomb, but Orochimaru isn't affected, and he claps Naruto. Sakura, seeing all of this unfold, decides to run over to Naruto, hoping to save him, but whoop-bop! While all that unfolds, Sai decides to walk over to Orochimaru, who's now on the floor because he was a bit too silly, but we'll get back to that in a second. Kabuto, being the G that he is, decides to heal Sakura, and then he dips. Yamato then suppresses the Nine-Tails chakra, and Sakura begins to heal all the wounds created by the Nine-Tails cloak. Okay, back to Sai. He relays a message from Danzo that we don't hear, so I'm not talking about it. Yet. Kabuto and Orochimaru don't trust Sai until Orochimaru sees what's in the envelope, and then he believes him, so Sai leaves with Orochimaru. A wood clone of Yamato sees all of this and relays it back to the original Yamato, and he follows them. Yamato can actually track Sai from a little seed he put in his bag, by the way. I just need to point that out. As Team Yamato is tracking Orochimaru, Sakura's injury forces them to take a break, and during that break, Yamato pulls Naruto aside and tells them that Naruto was the one that actually hurt Sakura. Team Yamato all look at Sai's picture book to find that it's about Sai and his brother, and they see it's unfinished, but they don't know why it's unfinished. Anyways, they're now moving out. Orochimaru just made it back to his hideout, and we finally see Sasuke. Sai and him talk for a bit, and then Orochimaru and Sasuke leave to train. Team Yamato locate the hideout, and they're about to attack, but before that, Yamato tells them to swallow his seeds, so if they get lost, he can find them. Okay, now they're ready. With the help of Yamato, they're in there like swimwear. Sai is escorted to his room by Kabuto, and he locks him in as a safety precaution. But Yamato finds him and gets him out. They start interrogating him, and they tell him that they looked at Sai's personal picture book. They then apprehend him with wood style, and they bring him outside while they look for Sasuke. But before they leave, Kabuto jumps them, and they start fighting. It's still a 1v3 though, so he frees Sai thinking that he's still on their side. But Sai says,
"Did you eat a tree for right here?"
And he brings down Kabuto, allowing Kabuto to be tied up. They now trust Sai, and they all go looking for Sasuke. Yamato and Sakura look together, and Sai and Naruto look together. Naruto is still a little bit injured from being too silly earlier, so he falls. As he's recovering, Sai sits there with him, and he shows him the finished picture book. But then Orochimaru appears. Sai runs along looking for Sasuke, and Naruto fights him. After a bit, Yamato and Sakura help Naruto fight Orochimaru, but then Orochimaru just leaves. As they look into Sai's belongings again, they find a bingo book, and they find Sasuke in that book. I don't know how they didn't see the bingo book earlier, but who cares? As they find Sasuke in Sai's bingo book, Sai finds Sasuke. Although it was Sai's original mission to actually kill Sasuke, Sai actually decides to go directly against Danzo's orders, and he tries to bring back Sasuke to the leaf. While he's trying to keep him from moving, Sasuke actually just blows up a huge hole in the hideout, so big that it exposes it to the outside. Yamato and Sakura were split up from Naruto, so as they're running hallway to hallway out to Sai, they see Sasuke. Naruto then searches hallway for hallway, and he shortly sees him too. After a little reunion, Sasuke jumps down, and he's about to kill Naruto. Thankfully, Sai saves him, but then Sasuke decides just to lock in, and he kinda just claps everyone. He then looks into Naruto and sees the nine-tailed fox within him. Kurama's like, "You remind me of Madara." And Sasuke's like, "Pop." Sasuke then jumps back up after Yamato attacks him, and Sasuke was about to keep attacking them until Kabuto and Orochimaru tell him not to. Oh yeah, Kabuto is just like free now, forgot to mention. Kabuto, Orochimaru, and Sasuke now just leave. Naruto sad, they report to Lady Tsunade, and that's the arc. If you loved me, I know you did, you didn't have to say it. It's a semi on YouTube. You're gonna love my overanalyzing Naruto series, I just know it. And yeah, back to Menoman.
Thanks again, Asemi, for helping me out with this video. Now on to my part, where I'm going to talk about why this should have been the first arc in the Shippuden era of Naruto. What makes this arc fit better as the first arc rather than the Kazekage Rescue arc is that most of the major players are here. Sasuke, Orochimaru, Sakura, and Naruto are all here and play important parts of this arc after they were built up heavily in part 1. You can even include others such as Kabuto and the Akatsuki also being mentioned and even playing out important roles in this arc, as they were built up just as much during part 1 as well. Naruto actually has some moments in this arc, including the fight with Orochimaru, probably the highlight of the arc. During this fight, the viewers get to see just how strong the Nine-Tails is, blasting a huge amount of land as well as going toe-to-toe with Orochimaru, a person that in part 1 seemed untouchable outside of the other two, Sani being the only people that actually give him any real comp, also the third Hokage, meaning that Naruto seemed to be at this moment on Hokage level. Orochimaru's return in this arc is still great and shows just how menacing and terrifying he still is. The arc continues down the path of the story that he left off in part 1, having to wait for Sasuke to be ready for him to transfer his body into, showing just how sick and measly he has been since the events of part 1. This is a great return from him. Despite the fact that there's so many villains and antagonists that come afterwards, he's still one of the series' best. Sakura does take a backseat in this arc. It doesn't get to shine as much as she did in the Kazekage Rescue arc. She does play an important role into why Naruto goes down the path of learning how to use his own power rather than using the Nine-Tails, as well as an important reactionary role for the audience as to see what Sasuke has become since the time skip. Sasuke also gets some good moments here, being able to show off what he's learned since the time skip, being able to completely just wreck Naruto and the rest of Team 7. He completely shuts down the Nine-Tails. Very few characters we've seen up to this point being able to actually do this, then completely wrecks the rest of Team 7, either due to the fact of them not being able to react, or them not being as strong as him. These are all such good moments for these characters, and is a really good way to come back from a time skip, as I feel like this arc is very simple and gets to the point, while the Kazekage Rescue arc was very complex and didn't need half of the characters it had to even make the arc work. Simply put, I can make this arc the first arc after the time skip very easily. Have the Kazekage Rescue arc happen before Naruto returns to the village by using what I said in the previous video as the changes I would have made. I'll go over the changes very briefly. All you had to do was not have Naruto there, change the Jinchuriki from guards and any of the other ones as long as they're not B. Change the village to where the Jinchuriki was from, so that village would be where the arc takes place. Have Sakura learn during that arc that Naruto is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, but doesn't reveal that until this arc. The rest of the arc pretty much plays out the same. Now we can actually get into how I would fix this arc into the first arc of Naruto after the time skip. Naruto returns to the village just like he did in the original set of events, but this time it's after the Kazekage Rescue arc, which it doesn't happen here, so Gaara is still the Kazekage. He also still has Shukaku, so he'll be more important later on in the story, but we'll worry about that another day. Naruto still meets up with everyone, greets them, and sees how they've been after the time skip due to the events of what happened in the Kazekage Rescue arc still happening, but just without Naruto and other characters like Team Guy. Kakashi will still be written out of this arc just to be fair. I know the second bell test is iconic, but it doesn't need to happen in this event because it was only there to show off what Naruto and Sakura can do, and only succeeded at showing off what Sakura could do. And since the events before this arc happened, we don't need to show off her powers anymore. As the only reason why we need to do it at this point is just for Naruto's sake. But he'll probably see this later in the arc anyway, because I'm gonna have her fight. Naruto would still walk around with Shikamaru like he did in the original events of this story, but this time when he meets up with Sai, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't like Sai or Yamato. I think they're both kind of wasted characters that didn't really add much to the story. Instead of Sai just dicking on Shikamaru or Naruto, I think Naruto should have been on par with Sai because it still would have made sense to have him show off a little bit of what he's grown as a character. Since Sai is an Anbu Black Ops, and back in part 1, they were hyped up to be really strong. And if you have Naruto be on the same level as an Anbu Black Ops, it would show that, oh yeah, the time skip did do something for him. Because most people complain that Naruto didn't gain anything from the time skip. Events play out pretty much the same as Sakura and Naruto go on to meet Yamato, as well as finding out that Sai is their new teammate. Then they head off to Tenchi Bridge. Events still play out the same, where they're still looking to see who the spy is for the Akatsuki. And then here's some things I'd change. One thing I'd change is that Naruto doesn't immediately go into the Nine Tails form. Let Naruto go hand to hand with Orochimaru for a little bit, show off some jutsus he learned from Jiraiya in the time skip, and then when Orochimaru starts picking on him about Sasuke is when he busts out the Nine Tails cloak and all the other forms that come afterwards. This way, Naruto can still go down the path of realizing that he can't just keep relying on the Nine Tails. Sakura goes on to fight Kabuto, which should be a harken back to when he fought Tsunade since they're very similar, but then show off Sakura's different by using different tactics that Tsunade wouldn't have done or doesn't do. Then the rest of the arc plays out pretty much the same. Have everything else pretty much happen outside of Naruto maybe putting up more of a fight against Sasuke before Sasuke almost murks them, and have Orochimaru and Kabuto stop him. Overall, let me know what you think in the comments if you agree or disagree, and hope you have a good day. This is Metal Man, and I'll see you next time.